make another video while I'm in my car today. I got my handy dandy. I mean, these little cups are so trendy, right? I just resisted ever buying one, but the other day I was in the store and they actually had a buffalo, has a buffalo on it, and the brand is like buffalo or something, so I had to definitely buy that. So I'm just sipping my water out of my metal buffalo cup. The second video I wanted to make today, because I was thinking this week about my project that I kind of started, the Desert Files. I didn't know if I was going to tell any more desert stories. This came up for me because I went and visited my neighbor, and we were talking about shamanism. She was asking me what I do, so she was kind of interested, and she asked me, like, what's the weirdest thing as a shaman that I've ever experienced, So we talked a little bit, I talked a little bit about my childhood and some of the pretty intense, wild stuff I saw in my childhood. I don't think I'll ever truly talk about that as publicly as YouTube, but sometimes those stories come out a little bit to people that are close to me. But the desert, it made me start thinking about some of the stuff that I've seen living in the desert. And in fact, I do think I told her one of my desert stories, but I wanted to share another one with you today. The last one I did was on the Men in Black and my experience of that man coming to my door. Today what I want to share is a story about, we call it the blood trail. It's a pretty infamous story in my family. One day, so my husband and I were just dating at the time, and I grew up in Joshua Tree, so this is another Joshua Tree story. There's not much there. There's a post office at the time. I haven't been there in several years, but at the time there was a post office and a convenience store, maybe a couple little bars, a restaurant. That was about it. I mean, it's just nothing there in Joshua Tree. So we were pulling out at the one light in Joshua Tree at the post office, and we noticed like this trail of blood, and it's like thick. It's like the kind of thing you would see if somebody was heavily leaking oil out from underneath their car. It was a very thick trail, and we knew right away, because it was daylight, that it was blood. And along the trail, as we get quarter mile down the road, we start seeing like chunks of stuff, but it wasn't like chunks of fur. It actually looked like chunks of like internal organs, like liver and like bloody meaty material, but no fur at all, just chunky bloody meaty material and a wide blood trail. And it clearly was caused by a car, because you could see like where the car swerved in the road. So we were curious. We were like in our heads, racking our brains, like, what, did somebody hit an animal and they're dragging it? And then we couldn't figure out, well, why was there so much blood, and why was there no like fur or animal chunks? I mean, just these weird internal organ looking chunks. Why was that? So we were trying to imagine like what created this, what happened, right? So because we were so curious and we couldn't figure it out, we followed this blood trail way past the turnoff to my house. And I live two miles down a dirt road, okay? So we followed this blood trail way out in the middle of nowhere, basically to a dirt road. And so we're talking again, like, what could have caused this? I mean, we're talking, this had to have been like gallons of blood. I mean, it was unreal. It was a thick, wide trail for miles. So we were disturbed about it. Like I said, I grew up in the desert. A lot of people, children that were kidnapped and murdered, their bodies were found in the desert, in the area where I grew up in. A lot of really famous cases. So a lot of, kind of malevolent stuff happens out in the desert. So of course our imaginations, is concerned, what happened? I mean, what is somebody doing that they shouldn't be doing? So we go back to my house and we decide to call the police. So my husband calls the police and he tells them, look, there's a blood trail. So the sheriff comes out, and he of course runs me and my driver's license, runs my husband and my driver's license to make sure we don't have any warrants. There's a big drug problem out in the desert too, a lot of methamphetamines. So I think that they were kind of suspicious, like, are we meth heads, or what are we doing calling the police talking about a blood trail, right? So, you know, the officer, by now, it's almost dark. He's like shining his flashlight in our eyes, making sure that, you know, our pupils are, you know, just, he's kind of like checking it out. So my husband, like, is a very rational person, totally sober, you know, young man at the time, 24, just got out of the military, clean cut. So I think that they realized, like, you know, that we're not a bunch of meth heads going on some wild, crazy goose hunt. So the cop says to my husband, okay, well, I guess get in the car and you can show me. So my husband gets in the sheriff's car and takes him to the beginning point of the blood trail. And the guy gets out of his car and, you know, takes his flashlight out, examines it, collects a little sample. He says, yeah, this is definitely blood. Well, what's it from? My husband says, yeah, exactly. We don't know. That's why we were worried, you know, we don't know. So he gets back in the car and they follow this blood trail all the way back out to the dirt road. The policeman, the sheriff pulls off onto the dirt road, is able to actually, you know, puts his high beams on and can follow this trail out into the dirt road, like a mile and a half out the dirt road, and it's still a blood trail that you can see in the dirt in the middle of the desert. And then it just stops. They totally lost the trail. You know, he investigated a little bit around the area, didn't see anything. So he said that was the weirdest thing that he ever saw in his life. He claims that he took a sample that he was going to take back, but, you know, this is Joshua Tree. It's not like they had some huge forensic lab or something, so I seriously doubt that they really investigated it beyond that. But there was never any answer for it. There was never any explanation for it, but it was verified by the police that it was highly suspicious, very bizarre, and definitely was blood. So that's our story about the very weird blood trail in Joshua Tree, California. So anyway, you can ponder that and tell me what you think was going on. I have no idea, but it was creepy. So anyways, thanks for watching as always, and have a great day. Love you guys so much.